Well, hello and welcome. This is the Monday evening team call, and we're here because of a couple of special ladies. So we have Jill Berth and Kathy Horn, and we're sending prayers their way tonight. But they're the reason for the season. They're the reason we're here. They were the pioneers in this beautiful company, and pretty much all of us, either one or both of their organizations. So we want to acknowledge that. And so tonight, Jim and I are stepping in. We're going to be hosting and making a very interactive call with one of our up-and-coming rising stars in this company who was highly successful in our industry and profession. And she reached a point in that journey where she felt a little bit of a disconnect with her heart, culture, her faith. And once she heard about this, and she heard about it actually from another beautiful lady, Miss Kara Thorpe down here. And so, Kara, you want to help me introduce Heidi, please? Please unmute your line, Kara.
This is a fun surprise. I've known Heidi for maybe, we'll say 3 years. She is such a fierce love warrior for her children and her family. She will do anything for them. She has a heart of gold. She's a servant leader, just like by her very nature. And she and I met when I was working with her daughter. She's just so likable and kind. And I said, "What are you doing for health?" And she said a lot of things, because she's so well researched. So she had like 3 different tabs open of different health sources that she was ordering from. And there was one in particular. She said, "I'm going to have my daughter start this." I said, no, you can't. It's gross. I kind of feel a little bad about that, but she listened. And I think she has been able to then with Solevo close all those other tabs and just have the one best tab open. And without being open spiritually and the amazing person that she is, she wouldn't have stepped into this as quickly as she has. So I hope that even like lights a candle to the person that Heidi is. Thanks for asking me, Robert. She's so super amazing.
She is, and we're so honored and glad that she's here with us. And so Heidi, welcome.
Geez, you guys are gonna kick this off with tears.
You deserve them. I hope it's our tears, not yours.
Well, I'm honored and humbled to be here tonight with you all, and super excited to share the content that we have on the docket for this evening. It kind of was sprung on me about 15 hours advance notice with the Dallas event, and luckily it's content that I don't personally feel that I'm an expert in, but just some best practices and things that I have kind of grown into my comfort zone of utilizing social media to help grow our business, and really to just use that as a facet to be the servant leaders that we desire to be. And so I kind of whipped together this presentation that you guys will see tonight. And I hope that, you guys can just utilize it and use it and make it your own, and just kind of have some building blocks for what I have found to be successful in some social media aspects.
Thank you, Heidi. And for those listening and watching this, because I was privy along with some of the team to be at the training. And Heidi, it's not just, this is not theory, hyperbole. It's just what you and the team, what we're doing every day that works. Yes?
Correct.
Yeah, this is proven practice, proven best practice that works. This call is interactive, so Heidi and I will be pausing pretty much at every different slide. Again, respectfully, Heidi, I'm sure you would nodding with me here. There are many leaders on this call right now that could teach a similar training. And so we want to acknowledge all the leaders on this line tonight. And that being said, Heidi presents it in a very unique, compelling, and fun way. So let me put up the slides, Miss Heidi, and then we'll go from there, guys. Let me.
While you're pulling those up, I have just one big question at the front end for Heidi that might give the rest of us pause. Can I learn what you know being my age and not a techie?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the learning curve is not above my pay grade?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
Especially all that regeneration we have going on with the collagen. Are you kidding me? The clock is
Okay.
reversing, Jim.
Well, my memory is improving. My mental clarity is getting stronger, so I have hope. So thank you for doing this for me and all of the rest.
Yes, this is easy peasy for everybody, I promise. There we go.
Okay, Miss Heidi, go ahead.
All right. So some of this is pretty universal amongst, all social media platforms. What I speak to tonight is a little bit more geared specifically towards Facebook. But one of the most important things that you can do is to brand yourself. We work on branding, branding our business, who we are, what we want to represent, and that should also be reflected in your bio. Your bio is just pretty much your Facebook page, your Instagram page. It's really easy to do if you just kind of try to focus on 3 to 5 identifying characters that when you think of yourself, when others who know you think of you, or really what you want to represent. These characteristics can be, like for me, mine's, mother, faith, wife, health, wellness, health advocate, athlete, advocate, educator, entrepreneur. The list here is endless. But really you just want to have, simple. You can use cute emojis, a different font, just something fun that's kind of drawing to the eyes, so that when people come to your page, they're like, hey, what's this person about? And right there, the first thing that they're going to look at on your page is those identifying characters and what you want to represent.
And,
So
and Miss Heidi,
Yep.
what's a couple of key tips as far as how you personally came up with your identifying characters?
Mine were just the things that are most important to me. So that's, being, my faith, my, being a wife, being a mother, health advocate. I'm kind of my family, I'm gonna get all emotional. My family's kind of medical pit bull. I care very much about health and wellness. I have for years, just with an interest. It's always piqued my interest, but just with health struggles that I've endured in my life, that other family members of mine have gone through, and I've tended to immerse myself into those things to understand them completely, so that I can just be educated. And so health is a big one for me. It's really just what resonates with me. And when someone thinks of me, I want them to think of these identifying characters.
Okay, so, and here is your Facebook profile.
I bring it on.
Love it. And then you have faith, family, health partner. I love it, Heidi. So, okay, let me go back to our slide share here. Here it is.
We couldn't see her profile, Robert.
Oh, you couldn't see that?
I have some samples on the next slide. We can just look
Okay.
at those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we all know these people as the slide comes up here.
You should see the slide. There's a delay there. Let me know if you
There's
can.
no slide, no slide.
Okay. Good old technology. It helps if you push screen share. Like I thought I'd put that already. I've never done these Zooms before, guys. Yeah, right. 1 second. Let me get to my.
I know how to say LOL. I know what that means even.
See, Jim?
This is the first slide, in case you didn't see it. So here we go. Back to you, Heidi.
So here's a couple examples, starting with Mr. Robert Arthur. And you can see he's done just that here. Identified those characteristics: child of God, family man, servant leader, speaker, mentor, wellness warrior, team builder. Jill's go-getter, motivational speaker. Arthur, author of Finding the Voice Inside You. The beautiful Kathy Horn, fitness trainer, nutrition coach. I love the do-it-yourselfer, foodie. Kathy's a foodie. And of course, Kirsty as well, you know, loving mom, daughter, friend, entrepreneur, one who seeks goodness in all things. It's just uniquely you.
It is uniquely you. So why is it so important that we, again, have you seen the other example of this, Miss Heidi, where people just put a selling proposition or just their business title? You know,
Yes.
what are some of the things, the profiles that maybe are more salesy versus just personable?
Yeah, just that. I mean, some even have like their title or a rank within a company. Some just simply have their Instagram like handle. And so you can go and see all of their business kind of related stuff on there. They're just very impersonal. They're not, you know, kind of give you the warm and fuzzies and really know like, hey, this is what this person means. You know, this is what this person stands for. They're kind of cold to me. And I do look into that. I mean, you know, it's hard. I think now we're doing so much, you know, through technology that it's important to, you know, it can have a powerful impact for you to represent or kind of have your character, you know, shine a little bit versus being cookie cutter or not having anything there. And the other important thing too is that your feed then represents what's in your bio. When people come here, they're like, oh, hey, look at this Robert guy. He looks great. You know, and then they start scrolling. And if the two mimic, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, he does represent those things.
And I had a question come in too. I was about to ask the same question. Thanks, Pam. Pam was asking how and where you made your banner on Facebook.
I think I just did it in Pic Collage. Is it? Yeah, like I think I have my kids, and then I just have a saying in the center right now.
Okay, let me just now that we can see the screen, guys, let me just show you Heidi's. Here is Heidi's Facebook page.
Wow.
Okay, so Heidi, you just made a couple pictures. This is not the same? This is the same daughter as a baby?
No,
That's
so
not
this
Cora.
is,
Yeah.
yep, this is, you guys all know Cora because she's in my Zoom all the time. Yeah, so Cora is my 3-year-old and Carly is my just turned 14-year-old. And someday I'll get a family picture in there, but I don't think we've had one in like the last 5 years. And then just the be believing, no, that's something that resonates deeply with me. Love the concept there. So that's my page.
And there's your faith, family, and health partner. Okay. I love it.
Yep.
Awesome. So you just did a pic collage, and I think a number of us use Canva, and so there's all kinds of ways to design, you know, banners and so forth. Mm-hmm. Are we answering your question, Pam? Hopefully we are. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments around the bio, around branding yourself, or Miss Heidi?
Donna has one.
How I understand how to make a pic collage, but how do we put it on Facebook? Where do we go to put these? Like you're branding yourself. Where do I go? Some of us are starting from
we
square
could totally
one.
Happy to do like a training call or whatever where you can actually do these things. But I just take pic collage, select 2 pictures that I want to put in whatever kind of format. With pic collage, you can pick, I mean, 2, 4, 6, 10, whatever individual pictures. So I just add them all in and then I downloaded it, you know, to my photos. And then the image is just one picture. So then when I go into Facebook, it's right in my camera roll and I just go to update profile picture and all of the pictures are combined into one picture.
That's what I needed to know. You go into update profile picture. That's what I didn't, that was my disconnect. And so for the like go-getter, motivational speaker, or child of God, is that done in the profile editing as well?
Yes. Yep. So she said both these images saved elsewhere and just goes in and edits or does the profile picture change. You know, there's the 2 you can edit. I think it's like a small camera icon. You just click on that and then you can pull in anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Heidi, I'm sure you do something similar. A lot of these things, I will pull up YouTube with a specific question, like on my phone, and while it's playing and pausing and playing and pausing and rewinding and pausing, I'll do it on my laptop. I'm sure you do something similar.
Absolutely. Where would we be without YouTube? I have a funny story.
Yeah. Also, Anita Connor. Anita, do you have a question, dear?
Yes. You all probably know this already, but I'm just asking for me. Is there a policy and preference about using Zalevo in any of our profiles, either on Instagram or in Facebook? And if you could explain that, please, I'd appreciate it.
Go ahead, Heidi.
You know, like, yeah.
I think you're free to use any Zalevo. I mean, branding.
Oh, yeah.
Anything on Rapid Funnel. It's just whether it's just a personal preference, you know.
Do you guys all do that or no?
I don't necessarily. I mean, when I do certain TikTok videos or things like that, I'll show the brand. Sometimes I don't.
Okay.
But I just want to make sure that in any way possible that people that are interested, they are being drawn back to me.
To you, yeah.
And not doing like Google search and, you know, which, I mean, they're going to do anyway, but
thank you,
that was
Heidi.
actually one of the questions I asked in the training this past week was, you know, what happens to those? Because people like to get on and do their own research and, you know, all the reasons why they should or shouldn't. And, you know, and sometimes they may not know, like, you know, I want them to come to me.
Sure. Thank you.
So I do limit it a little bit. I don't plaster it all over, you know, but I mean, a lot of folks put their, you know, their rank in there, which is awesome. You know, platinum founder, that's a beautiful achievement. And, you know, it's absolutely something that you can, you know, put in your bio, but it's really just a preference. So I use it, I sprinkle it here and there. The branding is so beautiful too. It's like you want to use it.
Great question. To clarify something I didn't know either, guys, till a few months ago. Anytime any place or time we use the Z black and gold logo, we cannot use it by itself. That is non-compliant. So anytime we have a logo, Zalevo, beautiful logo, make darn sure that we put wellness partner somewhere attached to it. I just want to make clear for everybody, because what the company doesn't, what our company, to protect our company, if we have a brand newbie, has no idea about compliance, post something non-compliant and paste the corporate logo like it's from the company on there. It's not, so there's reasons for that. Just to be clear, guys, and this is information for me as well to learn as well. So hope that clarifies. So, and Heidi, there was a question too. Is there from Carol? Is there now a way to change our banners on Rapid Funnel? Not at this point, Carol, but who knows what the future holds. So let's go on to the next slide here, Miss Heidi. All right, Heidi.
So some of the just tips, I think, with your profile picture is to change it. So, you know, every time you comment, every time you post something, what is, you know, you have your background picture and then you have the circular picture. And so every time you comment on something, that circular picture is what shows up. And again, people are just scrolling and stories and, you know, sometimes not really making the connection. So sometimes, you know, when they're scrolling through their comments, they're seeing the same pictures over and over again. And when they see something new, it draws their eye to it. And then they're like, oh, hey, who's this? You know, or if you have a new beautiful picture or, you know, you're whatever, on a sunny beach, you know, something like that, it really draws people's eye to it. So again, then they're more likely to maybe make a connection with you if you're commenting on their stuff, if you have a updated profile picture, something that they're not seeing all the time. I typically try to do this with the end of the month. So again, just to kind of pique interest, hopefully, you know, encourage more communication or, you know, the opportunity to kind of authentically connect with someone. Other things to consider are just, you know, colorful, funny, before and afters are really, really big, especially now, you know, with the collagen and stuff. if you have pictures to share or your own testimonies of experience with the new product, that's huge, you know, like Kathy's hands, or you know, the eyes, the skin, the hair, the nails, all of it. I mean, take your pictures, you guys, because you're gonna want them. Not only for your posts, but they're super powerful within your profile picture. So if you have your before, maybe facial and after of a couple months on the collagen, that will be huge. And that's something that even that circular profile picture, you can split that by doing a pic collage and having that before and after. And those are very powerful. But again, just changing it up once a month. I wouldn't do it really necessarily more than once a month, but it's just your preference again.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, Heidi? There's not really a black and, hopefully we made this preface up front, made this point up front. There's no black and white. Because I know some people, Heidi, maybe some of us do, who change their profile picture every week. So again, it's personal preference. Heidi, one more little comment. The Collagen 300 is quite colorful. So get a wine glass or a champagne glass or whatever. And that's also includes some pictures about that. So any other questions, comments? Chris Johnson, Heidi said, great info. Chris said, I haven't changed my profile picture since 2007. So you might, you might want to, Chris.
Change it up.
I love it. All right.
All right. So now on to posting. You know, there's algorithms, and I am not a Facebook expert by any means when it comes to any of that stuff. What I have found success in just being consistent and non-consistent is consistent in my posting. So, and I know that again does have to do with algorithms, but if you post between 3 to 5 times daily, Robert talks a lot about this on his training calls as well. You know, typically kind of breaking that down. Robert's is like entertaining, educational, and what's the other one? I'm not thinking of it.
Emotional and engaging.
Emotional, thank you. And these are kind of the same 3 concepts. In the morning, I typically like to do something that's inspirational. You know, it's morning, everyone's getting their day started. So what better than to start off with some positive mindset? You know, this one I had a lot of hits on. I think a lot of people can relate. You know, are you exhausted by the balancing act? Don't fear failure, fear not trying. And it's just, you know, a nice image. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. So I probably spend more time on some of my posts because I don't want to just copy paste. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, but I take time, I connect with what I'm posting, and I speak from the heart in everything that I write. You know, I don't try to do things very lengthy unless it calls for it, just kind of short, sweet, you know, they're absorbing it. And the beautiful thing about the inspirational is I can't tell you countless times where people have then messaged me or text me and they're like, your post this morning is exactly what I needed to hear, like going through some hard times or stressed out or just a little positive perspective, and it goes a long way. So that's how I typically try and start my mornings. And then Robert, you can go on to the next one.
I love that. Any questions, comments on what she just shared? I'd love to get some comments about the 3 to 5 posts per day. Maybe some people, again, there's no black and white answers here, but it'd be fun, Heidi, to hear from leaders on that. Or not.
So Amanda, I mean, you can get one of those like Hootsuite. I've used Hootsuite. Schedule them.
Yes. I think there might be a slide later on where we talk about that, but I think even within Facebook now,
you can schedule on your business page.
Yes. And or in groups. So if you have any groups that you belong to, you can post, schedule your posts in there. But Hootsuite is another option that's great, you know, to use. You can sit down, especially if you're a pre-week planner, which I'm gonna be someday. Sit down and schedule all your posts, or those 3 or the 5 or 1 a day or a formulation, whatever, you know, then it's done and you're not like stopping what you're doing to get it done. You can do them every day or even schedule it the whole week. So this is my kind of midday. This is typically where I do, something that's informative, a formulation. And I kind of toggle back and forth between afternoon and evening with these. If it's, like a weekend or a Friday, or even, there's some days that they say are, have more traffic on social media. I personally think that COVID has kind of really thrown a whole different skew to that. People aren't, a lot of people are working from home, not commuting, things like that. So I think there's a lot of times people are spending more time scrolling than maybe they used to a couple of years ago. But informative is kind of my midday. This is where I love to do, I did the collagen, obviously. That was like the day it was fine, it dropped. And again, it's just some colorful emojis. Hashtags are huge. If you use hashtags, it's kind of white noise on the post, but the beauty of them is that they're literally like built-in search engines within your post. So if you type a hashtag collagen, you can see how many other references there are to collagen. So it'll show 30.2 million, 60,000, I mean, whatever it is. So anytime someone goes in and just does a word search for collagen, I mean, everything, and it's, anything that references that will populate, but there's a chance that someone's going to scroll by, your post. So using those hashtags are super, super, super powerful. I'm just starting to play with them. Half the time I forget, so I'll go back in and edit my posts to add them back in. A tip with that, if you are constantly kind of posting about the same thing or just the Labo in general, you can have all of them saved in a note. And then you're just copying and pasting from the note into the post every time you post. So it's kind of replicatable. So you're not having to do those over and over and over again, but very, very powerful there. So I have the before and after, and again, that was just a pic collage along with the collagen there in the first picture. And then the second one here is my little one getting her pink shake down in the morning, as she says. And all of this verbiage is literally a copy paste from our beautiful, powerful app, Rapid Funnel. I look through, sometimes when I'm posting, let's say about the whey protein, I'll open up Rapid Funnel and just kind of look through there, immerse myself into, all of the education that's there, all of the specific references. A lot of times I'll copy and paste some of that verbiage, trim it down. This time I put it into, I think it was Word Swag is what I used on this one, the colorful one. And, it can be a little bit time consuming because each color was like a different text that I added, but it was a couple minutes. I just, made it all fit. And then there you go. Again, the bright stuff, it's just more visible. It's, not just a bunch of verbiage where everyone's like, yeah, low glycemic, great. It's fun and it's catchy to the eye, but it says all the good. So
yeah, I think all of us love your the post with the Cora there, and once again, I think we've all found the more we could include family, especially little ones like that, much less pets, et cetera, you'd be amazed at what the engagement raises up exponentially. Heidi, another question was, let's see, Cindy Talley was talking about, yes, Cindy, you can do this on stories too. Heidi, do you use stories as well as posts as well?
Yes, we'll get to that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. It's kind of a duplicated effort, but everything I post, at least the picture, if I'm taking the time, this is just the evening one, but if I'm taking the time to make the post on my story, I take that picture, shrink down what I'm saying, if I even say anything at all on the story, and put it on stories, because typically that's where, when people open up Facebook, that's what they're doing. They're scrolling through that stuff. They just tap, click, and it's just pictures. It's not scrolling. It's not reading. It's not even engaging. But they're able to just kind of get the feel of what's going on in, you know, everybody's social media world. So if, like I said, if I'm taking the time to do the post on my story, I'm doubling my impact and putting it on, you know, the story itself. So on my timeline, excuse me, versus my story, every single time I do
Okay.
that.
I love that. And I'm sure you do this as well. Does everybody realize you can, if you have an Instagram account too, you can go to Facebook and go to in your settings and toggle it. Anything that goes onto your stories in Facebook will automatically then sync and show up on Instagram.
Yep.
So hopefully you're doing that. If not, get with one of us or go to YouTube and watch that as well. So you mentioned that
Robert, can you go back to the personal post though?
Yeah.
So I just want to talk on this one specifically because this is what people want to know. You can post about what you do. You can post about formulations. You can post inspirational, but what's going on in your life, what is the true and authentic you is what people want to see. The more that you do, all of my engagement, I mean, 80% of the posts that I get a lot of engagement on, with the exception of like the drop of the collagen, are personal. You know, people want to know what you're doing, what you're up to, how much your kids have grown, you know, how your family is, what you enjoy doing. That this is big. We're remodeling our house right now, and this was there'll be a lot of more future funny posts with that, because I bet you it'll take us like 2 years to do. But it's pure chaos, but people love it. They're like, oh my gosh, you're so brave, and how are you doing that with a toddler? And you know, so this, if you really want to engage with people, it's not through talking to them, you know, till they go numb in the ears about Zalevo and the formulations. It's 100% what's going on in their world, what's going on in your world. And eventually then the magic, you know, an opportunity will arise for you to share about our formulations. But it has to be authentic, in my opinion. You want it to be.
Wow. Yeah, well said, Heidi. And I love how you said family, kids, lifestyle, things we're passionate about, things we love. Yeah, that's where it's at. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then these were your 3 E's: emotional, educational, entertaining. Similar to the, you know, inspiration, the family, you know, these are all just kind of to get your creative juices flowing. In other words, it's, you know, in educational too, doesn't need to be about formulations. It's just fun things. Did you know? Comparisons, just different things that, I mean, current events, you know, any and everything. And then entertaining. I mean, I have a friend that just shares videos from TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I use TikTok for the video purposes and creating videos, but I don't get on to watch videos. And that's all she does is post TikTok videos. And the comments she gets are, I mean, they're all hilarious. But she gets a ton of engagement that way, just simply by sharing videos from TikTok to Facebook, you know, ones that make her laugh. So that's what she does, is make people laugh all day by sharing those. So
Love it. Love it. Good stuff.
all right, boost posts. So obviously it's not easy day in and day out, but you know, if you post awesome content, you get pretty good response. On average, people, you know, when you do a post, and again, depending on how often you post and the algorithms and how many friends you have and all of those things, you know, you think you're reaching this broad audience and you're like, how come I only have 2 likes? Or how come it's only my mom and sister commenting on my posts? But, you know, really on average, there's only 10 people seeing those posts are some of the statistics that I've heard. But based on likes and comments, that increases. And the more likes and comments, then the more it's being viewed or being seen by other people. So you might have all different kinds of friends and family out there, you know, who you think are ignoring or not interested in what you have to share, but really it's just they're not seeing it. So again, the stories is another good way to do more interactive. Robert teaches us on the Blitz, you know, to do an engaging post, you know, ask questions, do surveys, do the what if, you know, ... Those are all ways to kind of create a more engagement, and the more engagement you have, then the more visibility you get. Second, don't share people's posts. So if you see a post and I tell everybody, I mean, people message me daily like, hey, oh my gosh, I loved your post. Can I use it? Absolutely. But you know, it's easy to just take a post and share it to your timeline. But if you just take a couple extra steps in taking the post, you know, downloading the picture, putting, you know, if there was a comment on the post, you know, making it your own words and then reposting it as if it's yours. Especially, you know, in what we do, if you take a post of mine and you share it, you know, someone's like, oh, this is a great post, and they see that it's from Heidi Grazzini, then they can go click on that and get directed right back to me. So, you know, it's just the more it's unique to you and you not just sharing other people's content, that, you know, can drive people then back to the original, you know, person that posted that. So just kind of make it your own.
Heidi, can you clarify that? Because when I first read that, I said, well, Heidi's saying don't share people's posts, but you're saying the opposite's true.
Yes, I'm saying take whatever you want from anybody, like anything you like on my Facebook page, absolutely, you're welcome to use it. But it may not be as beneficial for you personally to just share it.
Right.
So if you're taking it from my page and just clicking the share and sharing it onto your timeline, that may then inadvertently route people back to me versus inquiring from you. So you can simply download that picture, you know, to your camera roll, go into your Facebook, upload that picture, make your own comment, and then the post is uniquely yours.
Got it.
So yeah, you share, we can share, just don't, you know, I think you guys understand.
Yeah, and that's our culture. Just a minute, I think Anita had a question. So just be aware, because of our culture, any leader you see posting on Facebook, you know, I can tell you right now, they all have that servant leader heart. So what all Heidi's saying is that have your list of people that you borrow good stuff from, just make it your own first. So
yeah, I'm flattered when I see my stuff popping up in different places. You know, it's flattering. It just, like I said, you want to get the traffic coming back to you, not just the person whom you're sharing the post from.
Yeah, I think we clarified that. So Anita, yeah,
perfect
question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Two things. One is I was in a former nutritional company as well. I know a lot of you have been, and this just blows my mind because because people are, in other companies, they're just so territorial, and it's like a rule, you know, unwritten rule that you never copy anybody else, you know, and so that just blows my mind. And that is a big reason why I'm launching my own Zlevo business now and working it as a business, because of just the attitude and the, you know, the servant attitude and the sharing. It's just phenomenal. The second thing is for people who aren't that savvy on, you know, what you're saying, terms like you're saying, like download, just the easiest way to copy a picture on Facebook is just right click on it and save image as. That's all you do. Just right click on it and save image as, and then you save it to your computer. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah.
And the other thing, folks, if you're on your cell phones and you're doing it, you can literally screenshot it and crop it and bam, save, and it's there. It's yours.
There's all kinds of ways. So thank you guys. Yeah. And don't you think, Heidi and Anita, you know, anybody doing this, at first, if this is new to you, it'll feel a little awkward at first until you do 10, 15, 20, 30, you know.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable taking someone's stuff or like, oh gosh, they're going to see that I shared it, then reach out to them. And by the time you do that 5 or 10 times, you're going to be like, Anita, I agree with you 100%, because the culture that I came from was polar opposite.
Yeah.
But it's all for, you know, family Zlevo. So
and you know,
it truly is. Why wouldn't we want to, you know, multiply our efforts?
And I just want to say too that there's other people like that I'm going to be reaching out to, friends and family that have been in other companies. And to me, one of the things that I'm just blown away from, I've said this before in another call, is that other nutritional companies do not like do these kind of forums and offer training and help cross line. Everybody's so territorial, nobody's going to help somebody cross line. And that can be a tool I'm going to use to reach out to people who've been in other companies that you won't believe. Zalevo, they don't do that. Everybody's together, and that is such a phenomenal tool that I want to use to recruit people. That's what I want to do.
Amen,
We found
sister.
it from the three musketeers, all for one and one for all. It is so true here. And that is what is really awesome and unique.
Anita, I tell people all the time that it truly is like we're linked arm to arm.
That's great.
There's no hierarchy. We're all, and one of the first things that I was told coming to Zalevo was that they had just as much to learn from me as I did from them, which and then here I am doing a Zoom call.
Case in point.
Exactly.
I love it. Thank you.
So it's a unique culture. Beautiful. Okay, on to the next.
Okay.
So just continuing with this, Facebook Lives. Oh, this is where I need to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. So you have your story, you have your timeline, but Facebook Lives are where it's at. If you take all of the previous three concepts that we just shared here and apply those all to Facebook Lives. So live is where you're just, using the video feature on your Facebook and just doing life. I've done ones where my toddler was in her rain boots and diaper and t-shirt, and we're going like through the mud pile, puddles in the backyard. Just fun things. I mean, taking your kids to the park, going through the grocery store, a crazy parking lot. I mean, all of those just real things that happen to you on a daily, making your dinner, eating your dinner. It can be any and everything, but it's like reading a newspaper being, your timeline, and then watching TV. It's taking your authenticity, your post, and just broadcasting it. So Facebook Lives are extremely impactful. If you get on one of these and you share about your health journey. I did once, and it was crazy. I mean, I cried. It was not pretty. After I was done with it, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And the feedback I got was insane. It was totally 100% authentically me. It was terrifying, but I did it. And it was like, people were like, you're so real. I love your heart. I totally feel what you're saying. And my journey, my struggle has been almost identical. It just allows them a direct connect kind of into your world. And it doesn't need to be a serious, sob story type thing going into number 5 here. But it really, really, really is impactful if you use that Facebook Live feature.
Hey, Heidi.
Doing things you love, anything.
We had a question come in too from Chris. Chris is the new builder. Awesome guy, he and his family.
Hi, Chris.
Chris said, can we do a Facebook Live of ourselves making a shake, taking an e-vibe, starting a burn day? I think I know the answer to that. Go ahead.
Yes, to all the above. And it doesn't need to just be what your formulations. I mean, it can be everything, getting your kids on the school bus, or making your dinner that night, or like right now, I've got endless potential Facebook Lives with the chaos that my home under construction is. Crazy weather. I mean, anything. Like if you're living it, Facebook Live it because people love it. And then it hangs out there, and you can share it to your story as well. And it's there for everybody to see, and they're powerful. Any questions on Facebook Lives?
Did we answer your question, Chris? Chris, feel free to unmute, Chris, if you can. I know you have 5 or 6 kids.
They're actually in the other room, so, but yeah, I usually keep them muted. No, that answered the question. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a little nervous about doing Facebook Lives because I've never done one before, but I'm excited to try.
Yeah, just start small and start with something that you're really comfortable with, you know, or if you have kids, like that's a perfect escape goal. It doesn't have to be you up there. Like I can do it with my kids all day long. You know, my 3-year-old is pretty willing. My 14-year-old, not so much, depending. But kids too. People want to see your kids. They love it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Could I add?
Oh, go ahead.
Could I add something, Heidi? This is Janie.
Hi, Annie.
I think that one of the reasons why it's so powerful is because people want connection so much, really, really want that connection. So that's why it's so incredibly powerful. And you said it just right. That is the authenticity is so real because you're live. You know, you don't get to redo it again and again and again. It's like you're live right there. And it's so refreshing and so powerful. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of you guys' lives. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I was going to say, Chris, if you want to see Janie, she does them all the time and they're awesome. So I need to take lessons from you, girlfriend. Because I don't.
Yeah. Also, Heidi.
Yeah.
One more comment for everybody to consider this. Many of us are doing it. Is that because of how easy it now is on Zoom, especially on the laptop, well, phone works too. It's so easy now to grab any number of friends and stream right from your Zoom account right onto Facebook with more than one of my platinum founders, Carol, I think you're on the line. Feel free to unmute. I do a regular kind of a team spotlight interview, 10 minutes or less. And Carol and I did one. And the very next day or the same night, a friend saw it, watched it, half of it, text Carol. Within an hour, she had bought an Ultimate Duo. Okay, so my point is that my point is bring friends with you on these lives. It doesn't have to be just you.
Awesome.
Yes, yes, I'm here. There. Okay, I'm here, and yes, it was. She said, I was thinking about you this morning, and she had actually had other products in her cart and never could push the button because she had gotten into a product that was not that good, got her kind of sick. No, not if you stay where you were. No, I mean, no, you're fine. I've got, my husband's wandering around. He goes, I don't want to be seen. But anyway, she had been thinking about me and went on my thing to see what I was up to, saw our post and literally called and visited on the phone as driving home, and she bought the Ultimate Duo. So, she's not building. She did it as a business, but she said, I'm going to do it on my own, kind of basically leave me alone. I know how to do this. But she's coming around. And but I mean, that was exciting to me. And so thank you, Robert, for having me on.
Yeah. Back to you, Heidi.
All right. So number 5 on here is bad news. Unfortunately, it's sad but true, but people love bad news. Minor, I would suggest, to you to, if something is going on in your life, again, it's just being real and transparent and just kind of, transparently living your life, kind of out loud. I think one important thing to note is, we all have, bad things happen or are going through struggles or have a lot of stress, but it's just like, hey, this is my life. But at the same time, I'm approaching it, positively, and I'm putting my best foot forward, and I have a positive mindset. And that's very encouraging for people. But again, good news, bad news, the good, the bad, the ugly, it just being real. That's what people will connect with. Moving on, show vulnerability. I think again here, it just all fits together. You know, no one is perfect. Why should we try to be? I think the more unperfect we are, the more relatable we are. And, you know, it's perfect is overrated. It's over and done with. That was like so last year. So be real. And then 7, I think, especially for us, all of us being on this amazing health journey, is to promote our lifestyle. You know, what's working, what doesn't work, you know, it's promoting what you are, not what you do. So if you're just on talking business all the time, it's like you're talking the talk, but you're not walking the walk. You know, how are you using, you know, all of the, you know, formulations, the Zalabo formulations, you know, how is your life changed because of them? How are you, you know, really utilizing them? And like for me, I thank God, you know, Kara got me when she did, because I'm like, just send them to me. And my personal story and what's taken place from there wasn't only me. And I'm like, man, I feel good, like within hours of having this stuff in me. But then my daughter had a health issue that came up and it worked for her. And then I'm like, okay, now it's my husband. And then I'm not stopping at anything until I get this in the bodies of every single one of my family members. And jokingly, I was like, if they don't all sign up to do this by Christmas, they're all getting it for Christmas. So, you know, and I could just talk people's ears off about it, because I truly want to like scream it from the mountaintops. But it's one of those things where I tend to like say too much. So it's kind of the balance, but I really want to exemplify that every single day in what I'm doing, in what I'm posting, and what I will be doing in Facebook Lives. You know, eating healthy, balanced meals, getting out and having movement, and you know, my active kids, and it's the lifestyle, you know, not just working. So promote your lifestyle, not your work. People care about your life, not, you know, not what you're doing for work. But
Yes.
for us, they both simultaneously work together.
So true, Heidi. There was a question back on the Facebook Lives. Do you ever do any heads up ahead of time that, hey, I'm going to do a Facebook Live on blank earlier in the day?
We've done that in some groups. I've seen it done in groups as well. So yeah, it's not a bad idea. But if you just do something on the fly too, don't avoid doing something on the fly that feels authentic because you didn't let people know ahead of time.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I love that.
So this kind of goes into that authenticity. You know, reliability is really key. And this is where I just absolutely love that we're in the day and age, especially, you know, I have a 14-year-old who's, you know, I'm not very happy about it, but, you know, spends too much time on her phone as it is. But this is what they're seeing all the time, is the Instagram. And not that this is a beautiful picture, but it's kind of funny because with the remodel of our house right now, this little corner in the upper left-hand picture, the Instagram one, is one little tiny corner of what still is my kitchen. And if you just take like 3-4 steps over, what you see in the reality is still my kitchen. So it was just kind of a fun little, you know, like what you see, you know, is not necessarily what, like glass house, you know. People want to see the 2x4s in the real life, and, you know, not the Photoshop, you know. I just can't stress enough about this, just being authentic and being real and being transparent. You know, people know that none of us live, you know, perfectly happy, you know, 10 out of 10 every single day kind of lives. So
very true.
There's my kitchen. All right. Connection. Joining groups is another huge way to just kind of really just expand your amount of people that you're in contact with. You know, you have your friends. Adding friends, I suggest, or kind of a rule of thumb that I try to follow, and I go through spurts with this as well, is just adding people like 1 to 10 daily. And this isn't blind, like you don't want to just go in and like friend, 10 other Zalevo people, let's say. It's great to be friends with them, but to people, that you may have mutual friends with, people that you saw posts from and you saw that you weren't friends with them, and people from high school, go through like old lists, or even if you went to high school with someone, go through their friends and see if there's someone that you have a mutual, like, oh my gosh, I remember them from high school, and friend them. Just kind of working always towards expanding that friend circle, because that is kind of your circle of influence. Regardless, I post everything publicly. So anybody can see my posts, but the majority of who's seeing your stuff is your friend circle. So the more you can expand your friend circle, if you're like Robert and you're up close to 5,000 friends, sometimes it's not a bad idea to do a little house cleaning and just go through your friends. If they're, are folks that, you don't think they would be interested, or you haven't had any contact with them, or just kind of do a little spring cleaning in there, and maybe you can still follow them, but if you're just not friends with them, then that frees up, space for you to add new friends, and just have a different kind of sphere of influence there. And then again, just posting consistently. It helps with the algorithms. People are seeing different kind of faces of you. It's not just product all the time. Another good way to connect is just to really start conversations. This is a big one. If someone is commenting on your post, or you haven't connected with them for a while, it's a great opportunity to, hey, thanks for commenting on my post. How have you been? But you're not doing that in the post. You're taking that conversation over to like Messenger, and then using that opportunity to authentically connect with that person. This is not product related. It's just kind of, how the heck are you? Haven't seen you in forever. What's going on? Is your family staying healthy? We're in a pandemic right now, and people are sick, and people desperately need what we have. I sit on these calls and over again, it like humbles me to hear that, like someone could be praying right now for an answer, and it's in the Zalevo formulation. So you just never know. It's not approaching every conversation like, oh, I, have to talk to them about Zalevo. No, it's let that conversation 8, 9, 10, if it authentically goes that route. But it's, it's when people are posting about life, when birthdays are a huge one. School start. When all those moms are out there and posting first day of school, the kids are getting on the bus, they're, or even now if the kids are moving from school into distance learning, back into school, whatever, it's like, there's just a ton of traffic that way. And that's a huge opportunity too. If you're not connecting with someone on a regular basis, you have those kind of, you see it at Christmas time too, around the holidays, where people are posting family pictures and, what they did on their holiday, or spring breaks are another one where you get the family photo dump, from spring break. And that's a great opportunity to be, my gosh, it looks like you guys had an amazing time, soaking up the sun. And then boom, you can take that conversation over to a messenger and, where did you guys go on spring break? It looks fantastic. Miss you. Hope you're doing well. Just something short and sweet and just real, like really wanting to catch up with that person, not having an ulterior motive. And then replying to comments, again, that's just kind of a common courtesy. If you've posted something, sometimes people don't, but if you're really in relationship building, which we all should be, that's what you want to do. You want to do the like, you want to say thank you, give a thumbs up, a short little message, miss you or miss your face, something like that. But replying to comments is another way to kind of just build that rapport. Borrowing posts, we kind of talked about that, just kind of making them your own. And then another powerful tool is A to Z commenting. Excuse me. If you use your mobile device and go onto Facebook, you can go right into your friends. Not sure exactly where you do it on here. But if you access your friends, it lists them all in alphabetical order. I don't believe your desktop or computer version does it that way. But you can literally scroll through and everybody's alphabetized. So what you can do there is, start with the A's and go into every individual person's profile and see if they've posted something recently, because just like the algorithms work with you or against you for you, they do for them as well. So they might have posted every day for the last year and you just don't see it. But there's all kinds of things going on in their life that you don't know about unless you are directly going to their page. So that's a great way to do that. And what I typically do is when I have downtime or when I'm like, oh, who should I reach out to? That's a perfect place to start. So I'll go through, click them. If they haven't posted on anything for a while, then there's not really much to, you don't want to comment on a post from 3 months ago. That's kind of weird. But you can just work your way down through the alphabet. So I just kind of take a mental note like, hey, this is where I left off. So I got through A's and B's. Next time I do it, I'll start with C's. And I'm just kind of, always sort of circulating through, and it just helps you kind of establish those connections with people that you may have lost touch with. And, they're again, you're building rapport. You're connecting with them. Once you're communicating or commenting on each other's posts, then they're more likely to see your stuff. So it just kind of compounds from there. And then last but not least, something that has been incredibly impactful for me the last couple of months is the Blitz Calls that Robert hosts. These are calls that we have several times during the week, morning and evening. And they are a quick 40 minutes and you just jump on. Robert plays some awesome music and we just go through. He gives all kinds of suggestions. And what I love about it is that gratitude is one of the topics. We always start off with gratitude. And I don't think that that's something, I absolutely love it, but I don't think that's something that just creatively on my own, I would have come up with. But once you're in that mindset, just based off his suggestion, it kind of opened up this whole new world of, oh my gosh, these are all these people that I truly, truly appreciate and that I know need a little pick me up or that are going through a really hard time, and a little drip of appreciation and gratitude to them goes a really, really long way. So there's nothing salesy about it because I suck at sales. If I was not so passionate about this and I didn't approach people and literally truly care about their health and wellness, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. But it really does. There's so many different avenues and suggestions, and you can take the verbiage and you can make it your own. And, there's just different platforms and ideas, and it's just kind of, always it's forever changing, even though some from day to day, some of the comments might be the same, but it's really endless in who you think, of reaching out to. I know that I've gotten several VIPs for sure that were people that wouldn't have even crossed my radar had I not been in the mindset of the suggestions from the blitzes. So if you can make those occasionally or at least once a week and just make it a solid rock in your schedule, it's well worth it. And that's it.
Okay. So raise your hand if you've gotten benefit from Miss Heidi. All right. Let's unmute the lines and make some noise. Make some noise. You say, I love you. Thank you. Whatever you want.
Love you, Heidi.
Heidi, love you. Thank you.
You are incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
It was fantastic.
Thanks so much.
So one
But
suggestion.
it was idiot proof too. It was idiot proof. So that's good.
That's always a good thing. Thank you. Although drinking the nutrition we do, I don't think any of us were that. So, but it's all good. So,
we just know a few.
Look out.
So easy to understand.
Yes.
Awesome. Heidi, are you receiving all that?
Yes, I am. And I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity and
Can you see me?
very humbled for, I mean, just to be here with all of you and do this together.
Wow.
Good
Good luck.
job. Good job.
Quite a family.
Hey, Robert,
Yes.
with what Kara shared at the very beginning about Heidi, I mean, she was right on. And Heidi really does have that beautiful heart of gold. And I think we all got to see that. I know that she has shown me her heart, and it's beautiful. So this was a fantastic call. Super awesome. Thank you.
Yay!
Wholeheartedly agree.
Sorry,
I-
that's her mom.
Oh, yay!
We agree, Heidi. So guys, with a couple of announcements real quick, I'm going to stop the recording. So Heidi, is there a closing thought before I stop the recording here, a call to action?
Don't want me to say anything.
No, because you're not.
I think just,
Well,
like I said,
Everybody
I think
needs
the
to
word that I
mute so
probably.
she could share it.
Yeah, please
Everybody
mute your
mute for a
line.
minute.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I think the word I'm, repeated over and over and over again is just, being authentic and really kind of breaking down the walls and not being scared to do, to step out there and to share, because we've got something incredibly, incredibly powerful here that, like we said, people are at home and they're praying for. It's life-changing. And if you stand in that position, we all elevate to something higher, and we have something profound here, and I want to stop at nothing to help those that want to receive help. So just be brave, and if you needed any encouragement or suggestions, things like that, don't ever hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to help.
I love that. We love you. So 1 second, guys.